The FIA didn't see this coming. Ex-Formula 1 driver Felipe Massa has just made serious allegations against the Formula 1 Governing Council, the FIA, and it seems things are going to get intense on the grid. So what did Massa reveal? And what does it mean for the FIA? Let's go into details. It all goes back to the final race of the 2008 Formula 1 season. Felipe Massa and Lewis Hamilton were just a few points apart going into the race, and everyone started making speculations about who was going to win the championship title. Most people were certain Massa would win the championship title, as he was in the lead. But when the results were collated, it turned out that Hamilton had won with only a point difference. And that was the beginning of the British driver's other championship titles. For Massa, things turned out entirely different. From that year, he never got to fight for a championship title, let alone win one. But now Massa is here with claims that the 2008 championship title was supposed to be his. And it has nothing to do with the final race, but the controversial incident that occurred in Singapore that year. And it has everything to do with Renault's driver, Nelson Piquet, crashing. Massa was doing fine until the safety car appeared. The whole ordeal messed up the Brazilian driver's race, and Fernando Alonso of Renault went on to win the race. On that day, it looked like nothing out of the ordinary happened. It was just an unfortunate incident, and Alonso got lucky. But the next year, everything changed when Nelson came out to reveal shocking details about the race. In 2009, Nelson revealed that due to instructions from his boss, he had crashed the car on purpose, due to instructions from his team bosses. The revelation later became a huge scandal known as the CRASHGATE Scandal. Massa and other members of his Ferrari team were outraged by the information, and it seemed like all hell would let loose. But the team ended up not taking any legal actions because the championship had already been awarded to Hamilton. However, Renault got banned from F1 and Ferrari was satisfied. That changed when former F1 Supremo, Bernie Ecclestone, made a shocking revelation earlier this year. During an interview in Germany, the 90-year-old man had randomly mentioned that he felt sorry for Massa for what happened in 2008. He said he and other key officials had known before handing the championship to Hamilton that Piquet deliberately crashed his car, but decided to keep it quiet to protect the sport from a scandal. We wanted to protect the sport and save it from a huge scandal. I still feel sorry for Massa today. He was cheated out of the title he deserved, while Hamilton had all the luck in the world and won his first championship. Massa was outraged when he found out. Now, Formula 1 is about to get sued for their offences over a decade ago. It's been revealed that the Formula F1 driver has sent a formal letter known as Letter Before Claim to the Formula 1 Governing Council, stating that he must be properly compensated for losing his championship title due to their dishonesty. The letter, which was sent to Formula 1 CEO Stefano Domenicali, who coincidentally was his former boss at Ferrari, and FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, states that, simply put, Mr. Massa is the rightful 2008 Drivers' Champion, and F1 and FIA deliberately ignored the misconduct that cheated him out of that title. Mr. Massa was the victim of a conspiracy committed by individuals at the highest level of F1, together with the FIA and Formula 1 management. So what does this mean for Lewis Hamilton? Since the whole ordeal broke out, Hamilton has probably been worried about the chance of him losing the championship title. But for now, it seems Massa doesn't really want the title itself, but the money that came with it. But why did Renault have Piquet to fake a crash? During the 2008 season, Renault was seriously struggling to find their feet. It was so bad that it seemed like the days as a Formula 1 team were numbered. But it was decided that if they fared well on the grid or won at least a race, there was a chance they could keep going. So the senior staff members began to look for ways to get their car to perform better. Then something changed in Singapore. In Singapore, their car showed a significant improvement in pace due to the upgrades that were introduced. Also, the newly formulated ELF fuel and the street venue was the perfect place for Alonso to showcase his skills. They all believed they could win the race, but at qualifying, Alonso faced a major obstacle that had him starting 15th. The Spanish driver had found himself stranded due to a fuel feed problem at the beginning of his first Q2 lap, and that was what affected his qualifying result. The team were devastated afterwards because they knew it would take a miracle for him to go from 15th to 1st. But while they were strategizing, someone jokingly mentioned that they could have Piquet intentionally bring out a safety car to seal the pit lane after Alonso, and by the time they were released, it would be difficult for anyone to catch up. Every other person laughed at his joke, saying it was a ridiculous idea, until Briatore gave them a silent go-ahead to make use of the plan. The team immediately informed Piquet and he agreed to do it. However, when he confessed the next year, he revealed that he heard an underlying threatening tone that indicated that terrible things would happen if he refused. So he had no choice but to agree. The Singapore Grand Prix came and Massa was in the lead as usual. Just as planned, Alonso got pitted really early, and Piquet pulled off his stunt. So after Alonso pitted, Piquet waited till turning 17 where he applied high pressure on the throttle, which led to the rear right tyre sliding into the barriers on the reconnaissance lap to the grid. The crash was so perfect that the medical team came running with their safety car. An intriguing detail is that Piquet had to practice the spin before actually doing it on the grid. The move paid off and Massa couldn't rejoin the race quickly. The only people who had pitted before Piquet's theatrics were Red Bull's driver Mark Webber and 2 other people. And since the safety car was present for 3 laps, Alonso had no serious competition for all that period. Massa even got the worst end of it as his Ferrari team forgot to take out the fuel nozzle during his pit stop. He had continued driving with his fuel nozzle trailing behind him. When he later discovered it, he had to go back to have it removed. After that, he got penalised because the attachment of the fuel nozzle was a threat to other drivers. So he ended up finishing 13th, while Hamilton, who was initially his major competition, finished 3rd, earning the point that helped him win the championship title. From what's been discussed, you can see that Massa actually deserves to fight. The FIA is yet to respond to any of the allegations, and the representative of the motorsport said it's due to the summer break. But the summer break is over and nothing has been revealed. Initially, Felipe's team gave FIA and FOM 14 days to the letter of claims sent to them, but no response was given. Now Massa and his team has sent a follow-up letter telling the FIA it has only till the 8th of September to give a response, unless there would be severe consequences. Please provide your response by 4 PM on 8 September 2023, failing which we anticipate being instructed to file claims in the UK High Court. It's only fair that Massa gets well compensated because the FIA shouldn't have ignored such important information initially. But cancelling the 2008 Singapore results and handing him the championship title is not a very smart move. One, it would hurt Hamilton, who had nothing to do with the whole scandal. The Mercedes driver is currently working to win an 8th championship title. Imagine how devastated he would be to be left with only 6. And 2, it would also be the beginning of the end for Formula 1. Because everyone who had lost in the past would start raising endless issues that the FIA would never be able to solve. The smart thing to do is pay Felipe Massa for his troubles but leave the title for Hamilton. So what do you think? Kindly let us know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.